Hello, Warriors. August is here, the dog days of summer. People are on vacation or getting ready to go on vacation. Liquidity dries up a bit, and that doesn't mean there aren't opportunities. In fact, what it means is because of illiquid markets, you can get some pretty dramatic moves. It doesn't take as much money to move the market. So let's get to what's happening in the currency market today. And if you recall, last week I was looking for the dollar, this correction to extend into this confluence area of 91.45, 91.42. And we had this little sneaky reversal on Friday. Even though I could make a case for being bullish, the dollar, I'm just not buying this Friday turn. It was still on a weekly basis. See the red candle, pretty negative week. So I think might be some more work on the downside in the dollar. So this first bounce in the dollar, I'm thinking maybe we get back up to between 92, 92.50. And, there are certain times in the market where you don't have to make a directional bet on the dollar. And that was a call I made last night on tradegatehub.com when I posted a buy in euro pound. Okay, we were trading around 33 last night. And when you look at this action in euro pound, I don't have to be right about the directionality of the dollar, just the relative performance of the euro against the pound. So look at this period going all the way back to April of this grinding action all the way down. We still have not been able to take out this low. I've had this blue line in here. We've had a few hits on this blue line. And last week was a pretty good week. I mean, and the dollar was down, and you had a nice little reversal in euro pound, and we could have a 2 week reversal, which we did not have last week. And that's going to come in by Friday's close, 8.5. Call it 85.60. 12 pips away, but it's not how far you're away. It's how we finish the week on a Friday. So pretty low risk. In fact, I've already taken and recommended partial profits. When we got to this resistance level right here, you could see the moving average is containing it for now. Maybe we get a pullback, but closes over today's highs, I think is going to squeeze more shorts. I don't think there are a lot of buy stops and people accumulating this one. We've been going nowhere. There's an old Wall Street expression, never sell a sleeping market. Well, if you look at euro pound right now, it looks like the EKG of someone in a coma. So I think that we could get a little wake up call to the upside, couple objectives if I'm right, and now I have stops under Friday's low for the remainder, so almost a zero risk trade now after booking partials. So yeah, I'm not gonna, even though I have a view, I'm gonna. It doesn't mean that I give up on money management techniques. So that's part of why I recommend taking partials. It takes a lot of the pressure out of the trade, and usually I'll move it up to BE, but that's just a little too tight. And in case this is a significant turn for a move up to here, or even this weekly confluence up here, okay, I want to be there for it. So keeping the stops under Friday's low, see what happens. Um, and part of the reason for it is pound got very close to resistance levels I've been talking about for a while, up near the 140 level. Okay, we didn't quite get there, 39.80 high. And to me, it looks like short term, the pound might be a little bit more vulnerable. Pound down 4, euro up. Euro has a little bit more constructive pattern. So, what I'm betting on is not which way the dollar goes, but I'm betting on relative performance of euro over cable, which is pretty much counter trend. So that's my take there. I'm still negative the yen. I was bearish yen from up here, and still don't think that we're going to reach this low. I have a third drive to a bottom coming in. Now you see this line right around this level here, right around the 108 level, and then you have the 200-day moving average coming in a little over 107. And that would imply, and it's starting to show up a little bit. You would think that'd be a good environment to buy the metals, and the gold, looked like it broke out here, caught peace, and we're trading right here at support. And silver doesn't look bad either. It looks like it's forming a bull flag. So normally, lower U.S. dollar yen, which I have conviction about, unless we start closing. What would it have to do to change my mind? You know, we shouldn't take out this spike high that I think this was Fed day, was a nice fade. So still negative the yen, which means it's not the greatest time to try and be short the metals or to be looking for higher yields. And I want to bring up what I think could be a significant event in the market here on TLT. Where was that? Okay. So here, this is a proxy for sovereigns, for treasuries, 20-year treasuries. Um, Barclays, I think it's Barclays. I don't know whose name is on top of the ETF, but to me, it looks like we have an incomplete pattern here in the bond market. That this is one. See how we got this confirmed high? So there's a little tutorial on a three drive formation. So here we go. Here's drive one, and it's a confirmed high, which when you have a confirmed high, as a trader, you would look to buy a break because markets rarely peak when a confirmed high is occurring. So your bet is that we'll make a higher high. You're not sure if it will confirm or not. And that the confirmed high did forecast accurately, and it's nothing always works. That it's all probabilities that because it had a confirmed high, that another high was probable. Okay, so we got that here. This RSI reading is uh, pretty stiff, still very good momentum. I don't like to fade markets when they have RSI readings, even though they're diverging over 70. And we've come off now, and it looks like we could get a third drive up here. And I'm not sure, it doesn't look like it's going to happen in risk off. We still have higher numbers in the indexes, which I'll get to in a minute. But to me, it looks like we're going to have another drive up in bonds and TLT to new highs before an important top is in. So are we going to have weak jobs numbers on Friday? I think it's a key number of the week. That's a possibility. But don't be too bearish bonds here yet. I'm not saying buy them for drive three, but I think that it could put in a pretty important turning point. Most likely that'll be a low for the US dollar yen after this happens, and maybe the end of this precious metal rally that, trying to hold this 1800 level in gold. And I still think silver, regardless if there's another push up, it did a lot of damage in the last few weeks. I know it's trying to turn. It actually looks better than gold, but I still think lower numbers, unless we start trading over 25.86, that's a different story. If we take out the recent high, look how it was rejected right here. So that's really an important thing to keep an eye on. Could it be risk off? Maybe risk off is coming. We're higher again today. What I can say about indexes is last week in the S&P, we made this new all-time high here. Okay. Last week in NASDAQ, after this big down day, which I thought was really going to put the nail in the coffin. But of course, here we are. It's like the beach ball. You push it underwater and then let go and it pops up and hits you in the head. But here's what is subtle about what's going on. So we have new highs in the S&Ps last week. So far, not new highs. Okay, the rally we had last night didn't take out that high that we had on Thursday. We were making new all-time highs when I was talking to Michael. Hope everyone enjoyed Mike Venezia's interview. If you haven't listened to it yet, we do have it on our YouTube page. A lot to be learned from Mike. I look at all his stuff. How you doing, guys? Okay, so some things for you to be taking a look at, and I'm just saying that Nasdaq. Look at this chart. The 100 is a lot weaker, and the point is S&P's made a new high last week. Nasdaq could not make a new high, right? It failed at the biggest fib you could have without new highs that I use, 88.6, rejected it back to support. And then with the S&Ps making new highs, we're so far being rejected at 78.6. So are we going to blow off? Um, it's a possibility, but I know that most people here that watch a video, and there are a lot of people who watch it on FX Street, are more, currency traders. But, let's face it, Fang and the prolific bull market we've had, especially in some of these growth names, um, I don't know what's holding up NASDAQ. Look at what happened to Amazon last week. Um, Apple's Apple's didn't react that well to their earnings. It came off and looks like it's under a little pressure here today. Microsoft has been a champion, but even Microsoft looks like it might be rolling over. One of the strongest reactions to earnings in the Fang, Goog did very well, made a new all-time high on their earnings, but it's coming off right now. Netflix never was near the high of the move, and Facebook, um, they didn't have good earnings either. So I'm not sure what's holding up the Nasdaq 100, but these are, everyone owns these. I do believe they're part of some, you know, are they in the spider? I don't know. They're in the Qs. Okay, so a lot of people own Qs, like owning the spider, but there's some internal weakness in Nasdaq that even though, and we haven't made new high in gosh, how long has it been? Almost a week. So there's some of the internals working there. Um, Looks like a decent day in Russell. Russell's, it looks like, there's rotation. W.D. Gans said, if you don't learn how to change your mind, you won't have any change left. I don't think I'd be short Russell now. It looks like, the rotation may be headed here. In fact, I think, NASDAQ looks like a better short now than Russell, but um, it really has been, we can retest the highs and fail or make a marginal new high and fail. But I think it's, there's some money flowing into small caps now and maybe migrating away from things like Amazon. Let's see, wanted to touch on crypto. You have Bitcoin giving up a little bit here, but I showed this formation last week and or late the week before, saying we were breaking out this wedge. So nice rally so far. I don't know. Is this a major bottom, or are we just could this end up being a failing rally with one more break? I don't know. Um, a guy's work that I've interviewed who's been in Schwager's book. Also, a nice little Schwager interview on our YouTube page for you to hear, you know, my discussion with Jack Schwager. Um, this guy's talking about, 7K in Ethereum by year end. That's still a phenomenal move. We'll see how that plays out. And, you know, get ready to do some buying in grains if we have more weakness in the bean market during this time period. Commodities in general, don't chase them. Look to accumulate them when they're in weakness. And with the S&Ps making new highs again last week and almost again today, VIX is still not confirming all the strength in the market, or the VIX is not as sanguine as the market is, because we're not trading at 16 or 15. We're trading 18 and a half. So someone's buying this. Okay. Is it insurance? I don't know if it's insurance. I've had discussions. I interview a lot of people too, and pay attention to, what's happening in the trading universe. And a lot of people, especially after a prolific bull run where, every dip, uh, even crashes, the market comes back from. And if you were asleep for a month, you missed the COVID crash and you didn't have to go through that anxiety. Um, but people are saying that to have a hedge on, and say, for example, you had a hedge on and you bought puts, that they expire worthless. It's a waste of money. And I think most people are unhedged. All I know about insurance is that when I buy insurance, fire insurance for my home, it's not because I hope I'm going to need to use it, just in case there's a fire. That's why you hedge. Okay. I don't know what else there is for me to cover. I want to invite everyone to come into our community and post their ideas. I'm looking for some good traders to work with during the day, to bring in their work and collaborate with me. If you're hearing this on FX Street, like to have the same type of format that we had in LAR on FX Street, where it was a community of good traders getting together, posting their charts, interacting with me sharing my work, and the whole community taking a look at what the other eyeballs are seeing. You could post your stuff and, maybe pay it forward and some of your ideas. There might be some newer traders that would like to learn your methodology. Also, if you'd like to be interviewed by me, um, and you have an interesting journey, or you want to share some type of trading knowledge, it's not that I need guests, but if you're interested in doing it, I like lifting up people and giving them a platform to share knowledge. We learned from everybody. I know I've learned from so many people. And be patient with yourself, traders. You can't learn experience. It only happens with the passing of time and living through things. So be patient and hang out with the experienced. You can learn from the experienced, but you can't learn experience. So hope everyone has a good trading day. Those are some of my views. Getting a little bit of a pullback in euro pound here. Let's see. This might be a good area back around 520 to give it a shot with stops under the low. S&Ps, interesting action. We were just talking about NASDAQ. Real big reversal in NASDAQ. I mean, NASDAQ is now unchanged, lower on the day, and the S&Ps are still rallying. I mean, they're still up 15 handles. So maybe some news on the FANGs or something, but that's a pretty negative candle. And guys, in both market directions, the higher beta stocks like NASDAQ 100 They do really have leadership, and it was lacking leadership several months ago when rates were rising, but really took over leadership. So um, anyway, I have December puts. I think that a lot of people may be just discounting what's happening with Delta in the US. Australia hardly has any cases, and they have a pretty strict lockdown. And, everyone's saying we're not going to have a lockdown again here in the US. The market certainly is not set up for that. And tech also has some things to deal with regulations and antitrust. And after this next rally, if I'm correct for um, a final move up in TLT, the bonds are going to be a great short, which probably means the banks will be a great buy once these interest rates peak, yields, hit their floor and start heading up in a big way, which I think can happen this summer. So one more hurrah in the bond market. So I hope that some of the things I talk about help you on your journey and add value. The way you could say thank you is to drop in, say hello, make a comment on these YouTube videos, hit that like button. And if you're interested in learning how to trade, I'll teach you what I know. I know a little bit. And so I always end every broadcast with don't just count your treasury bonds or your bearer bonds or your Krugerrands or silver coins or crypto. Count your blessings. Good hunting the rest of the day, warriors, and see everyone tomorrow. Adios.